Pokemon, Kaiju, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors. It is Steven here with another Gipsy Avenger review for you, and this time it is going to be the Robot Spirits Gipsy Avenger Clear Blueprint version. Inspired by the promotional artwork for Pacific Rim Uprising, where we see the Jaegers in blueprint format showcasing all of their weapons, this variant of the Robot Spirits Gipsy Avenger was limited to exclusive ticket pre-orders in Japan to see Pacific Rim Uprising. So with that in mind, us North American folks, and even those in the UK or Australia, are going to have to jump through a couple of hoops to get this one. And considering it's just, well, a bluer Gipsy Avenger, is it worth the purchase considering it is a translucent figure? You know how those can go. Let's take a look to see whether or not it's worth adding into your collection. Like I made mention, the only way to get this figure new in the box was to pre-order tickets to Pacific Rim Uprising through one select vendor in Japan, where you would have to pay approximately $50 and you would get a ticket to the movie and this figure. So with that in mind, you can no longer buy this figure new straight from a retailer. So, in order to get this figure, you're going to have to partner up with a middleman or forwarding service to get this one from Japan to the United States. I can recommend choosing D-Japan for this one because they're going to be able to find it on things like Yahoo Japan or even some other auction sites or resellers in Japan and get it shipped to you for pretty much the item cost plus shipping. So if you're in need of this figure, check out links in the description down below. So when we're taking a look at Gipsy Avenger here, it's pretty clear that this is going to be the exact same sculpt as we saw before, but it's going to be completely translucent blue. At least, that's what the marketing would have you believe. Instead, what we get here is a Gipsy Avenger that is, well, yeah, translucent blue, but it also has some fantastic detailing in regards to metallic blue paint applications that are sprayed at some key spots of the figure, and we also get nice, shiny metallic blue decals, where all of the usual decals would be found on the Robot Spirits Gipsy Avenger. So this faraway view, yeah, it does look nice, but when we get up closer, including the nice, shiny, translucent pod here, we can definitely see Bandai took the time to put some solid detailing into this figure to not make it just a standard bland repaint, or technically a recast, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, this variant does look great, and those who like stylized figures will definitely want to consider adding this in terms of just how the way that it looks. Especially when we look to the reactor core on Gipsy Avenger, where that blue is even more so intensified. All of the detailings found in the decals for the shoulders are still kept. We can still clearly read Pan-Pacific Defense Corps, along with the nice lines that are found on the forearms. Continuing on down throughout the rest of the figure, we do have the numbers clearly visible on the thighs, and then as we get down to the feet, we do see more of that metallic blue shining on the front part of Gipsy Avenger's legs, but on the back, it's not necessarily there. Overall, I'd say Bandai did a really nice job creating a blueberry flavor of Gipsy Avenger. So Gipsy does look great, 2 big thumbs up, but one thing folks might notice is that they use normal colored plastic for mostly all of the joints. That's because, unfortunately, sometimes translucent figures have issues where they will crack at the joints over time if you have translucent plastic on translucent plastic, but thankfully, Bandai thought ahead on this one. And unfortunately, I've had 2 bad experiences with translucent figures. One, this one.
Oh, guys, my Antiverse Gipsy Danger took a shelf dive and broke. There we go. That looks much better.
And then I had the Robot Spirits Ava 01 Night Combat version, which unfortunately had cracked ankles because of the way that it was constructed. So with that in mind, I'm not worried about that for this Gipsy figure at all. But let's take a look at the articulation for those who may not be too familiar with the original Robot Spirits or who just need a refresher for the range. So we do have some ball jointed movement up here at the neck because there are 2 ball joints at play for the neck, one where it plugs into the body and one where the head plugs in. So Gipsy can look from left to right relatively nicely. Can look forward, up and down, it's kind of okay movement there. The wings here, they are not on swivels, they're just plugged in, but when we go to the shoulder movement, can strike a T-pose about that well because, unfortunately, these shoulder pads, which are on ball joints, they can actually pop off and you can pop them back on. They do block the articulation a little bit, but we do have movement out forward about that far for both arms. And we do have double hinge joints for the elbows, with the wrists being on double ball joints, but do keep in mind that they tend to like to fall off. If that happens, you can just pop everything back in, not a problem. One issue that I have with my Gipsy figure here is that the shoulders are super duper tight. So even though they do have a couple of ball joints that can effectively act as hinges on top of a nice bicep swivel, by the way, they are tight, and I feel like I'm bending the plastic more so than I'm moving the joint. So if you do get this one, keep that in mind that you may get some tight shoulders, but you know what? I think they're going to be okay in the long run. We do have a ball jointed ab crunch that's more so better from twisting and turning side to side than moving forward and back, because it just kind of wiggles there. And we unfortunately don't have really a waist joint, except for down here in the hip area where we can move the hips side to side and forward and back if we needed. It's kind of a weird design choice on Bandai's part, but it is what it is. We do have ball jointed hips with another ball joint that's seated in the thigh, so this way you can move the legs like that, move them out, forward, from side to side, all that fun stuff. So the hip movement is fantastic on this Gipsy Avenger, with double jointed knees, so this way we get movement about that well. And then, of course, we do get double ball jointed ankles to accommodate for forward and back movement. It's pretty all right. And we do get ankle rocker movement here. So for Gipsy Avenger here, we do get movement that basically allows it to be serviceable in a whole bunch of fun poses. But is it over the top, awesome, and better? Not necessarily. Just keep in mind we do have some tight joints there and some rather loosey-goosey joints down here, and I think you'll be able to get Gipsy to strike some pretty neat kaiju killing poses. If I can get it to stand up, there we go. Accessories time now, and it comes with everything the first Gipsy Avenger had, which includes 2 alternate splayed hand parts. We get 1 chainsword and we get 1 gravity sling. We do also get that removable butt part, so this way we can plug in a Tamashii Stage Act support system into Gipsy's butt if you wanted to, but I'm not going to show that because it's very simple and easy to do. So, like all of the accessories from before, they look identical. We do have kind of that angled splayed hand, which is really weird. I don't know why they decided to do that, but let's go ahead and skip past that and look at the really cool weapons that Gipsy comes with. For the right arm, we do get the gravity sling. And though the original release just pretty much saw metallic blue paint at that orb portion where it's getting ready to fire the gravity sling, this one has it pretty much all throughout, and it looks very cool. For the chain sword, it once again does look identical, except for when it comes to the actual sword, where there's a nice metallic blue dry brushing to it that really brings out the finer details in the sculpt, which is great to see. So overall, Gipsy Avenger's accessories are pretty sweet, but the one thing that I'm kind of upset about is they didn't have the foresight to include translucent orange chainsaws from Obsidian Fury here. That would have been really awesome to see in terms of that contrast, because we do have a clear translucent figure here, but c'est la vie. And of course, you want that blue swirl whirlwind effect there? I've got a video to show you what accessories might go well with all of your figures. All in all, we do get a very solid package here for Gipsy Avenger. Now, here's a quick size comparison for you, because you pretty much should know how big Gipsy is if you've seen my first review, which you should have, or if you're just familiar with Robot Spirits figures in general. Going to be a little bit large in your SH Monster Arts display, but still, it will fit in nicely. Now, because you just might need it, here's a quick side-by-side comparison with the original Robot Spirits release, and as you can see, there is a clear difference between the two figures. See what I said there, clear? Because this is it's a translucent figure. Anyway, there's quite a bit of a difference here where if you're thinking about getting this one, I would say it's justifiable enough. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. To be perfectly honest with you, prices on this guy are fluctuating between about $45 to $70 on the aftermarket, so if you're looking to get this, get it sooner rather than later. It looks fantastic, the accessories are good, and the articulation is tight in some spots, but mine is quite loose in others. So for those of you who like variant figures and you're thinking about getting it, I would say get it today. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description, too, to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links like the credits for this video and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.